So let me begin here. Verse 18, chapter 1. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child of the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man, and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. Just stop. All right. This would be something unimaginable. You're betrothed to a young woman. Now she's pregnant. And what I think it's trying to show is that Joseph is a good man. He's a patient man. He's not going to shame her. And that all seems well and good. And we'll get into Luke eventually. We'll get into Luke to give that portion of the story of this. But it's important to know this. And if you want to know the background of this, because here they are, it's just Joseph and Mary thrown into our lap. Like, we think we know a ton about this because we have all this tradition. We have all this great Christmas tradition. This is the Holy Family. What's going on here? Who are these individuals? If you want to know the ancient church's position on this, if you want to know the backstory, you have what's known as the Proto-Evangelium of James, written, say, around 150. It fills in the backstory. Many of you will say, well, that's not accurate. It's much later, even up to, say, 70 years later. But it's trying to fill in that backstory of who are these two people? What are they doing? In some ways, you can just read it, that they were two, I guess, young people. Maybe Joseph would have been slightly older. I don't know. And she's younger. Again, I don't know. The text doesn't tell us. The Proto-Evangelium of James actually sketches it out for you. For those of you who are interested, Joseph was a widower. He was much older. Mary was kept at the temple at a young age. Whenever it came time for her menstruation, it was time for her to leave the temple. Because Joseph was a widower and he was so much older, he took Mary as a child, as a betrothed. But the understanding was she was quite holy. So when he sees what's going on here, now she's pregnant, oftentimes we think he would be scandalized because he's her betrothed because she was unfaithful to him. Again, I'm not asking you to accept this tradition that's otherwise, but the other tradition would be he was horrified because he was told, you're in charge of this young woman. Like, protect her. Keep her from the world. She was a temple virgin. We've placed her in your care, etc., etc. So, just so you know, that's what goes into that other tradition. I certainly implore you to go and read that Proto-Evangelium of James. It fills in a lot of details. Again, whether accurate or inaccurate, you can see where it's filling in the gaps of the narrative. Because if you're reading it, you have really no idea what's going on.